Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.
If everybody's all set, I would like to call to order the meeting of the Neenah Common Council for June 17th, 2020. This meeting's being held virtually due to the public health emergency that's caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. It's accessible by a link that was on our agenda or a conference call for members of the public and also members of the Common Council. The proper notices have been given for this meeting, and I am in the council chambers, and the door is open in case anyone would like to access this meeting personally. There was Dwight Kerr was here. He gave me his request, and that way he said he wasn't going to stay for the meeting. So with that, I will call to order the meeting. The first item of business is the roll call. The clerk will call the roll, please.
Alderperson Boyette.
Here.
Lundrum.
Here.
Steele. Nope. Bates. Erickson. Oh. Alderperson Bates, did we hear from you?
Alderman Bates has to unmute. It says Alderman. She has an X by her speaker, so.
It just says she's not connected to audio, so we'll pause for her. Alderperson Erickson. Coons.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Spellman.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
So we just don't have Alderperson Steele, and I believe Alderperson Bates is on, but we can't hear her right now.
She's on the phone with me. She's stuck. She can't even restart her computer.
Okay. Well, she's the record will show that Alderman Bates is present. She's going to have to restart her computer and that, or try in a little bit or something. So.
Okay, Dean.
But she'll be recorded as voting as being here currently. But go ahead. And Alderman Steele did mention to me that she may not be here tonight. She's out of town, so Alderman Steele will be listed as excused, please. This is technology, so.
Yeah, Alderman Bates is actually stuck. It won't let her exit to even restart and rejoin, but she is trying.
Or she can just call a telephone conference number and just have audio.
Okay.
I have dismissed her from the call, so that should boot her off and she should be able to come back on.
Or she can do the conference call. Looks like she's already on. Okay, Alderman Bates, are you there?
Can you see me?
Can't see you yet, no, but we can hear you.
All right, well, at least,
Turn your audio on.
it is on.
Okay. Well, we can hear you, so we'd love to
Okay.
see you, or you could sign off and try again if you'd like. We did the roll call. There are eight there are 8 members present, 1 excused absence. Item number 2 is introduction and confirmation of a council appointment, not a mayor's appointment, a council appointment. The council appointment is of Stephanie Cheslak to the position of city clerk. Attorney Godleski, would you like to make a statement? And then Alderman Stevenson, maybe this is a council appointment.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. The selection process was quite extensive. The Human Resources Department received 27 applicants, 20 of whom met the minimum requirements. 7 were interviewed in the first round, and in which both President Stevenson and Alderman Tammy participated in the interviews. There were 4 finalists, and Stephanie was selected through that process. And I'm pleased to, she's of course served as deputy city clerk for the last basically 11 months, and prior to that was in Menasha. So I'm pleased to present her as a recommendation to be appointed as city clerk.
All right, thank you very much. Alderman Bates, you are now on.
I'd like to make a motion.
You're also on twice, so I don't know
I'm going to get off.
what's going on. You got to log off one of them.
I am.
Okay. We'll give her a minute just to see if we can get this figured out. All right, there we go. Thank you very much.
There was something
so-
I needed to be released from, and so I think the organizer had to release me from it.
Okay, thank you very much. Alderman Stevenson, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Based on the recommendation from the selection committee and the report from City Attorney Godleski, I would make a motion. I'll move to appoint Stephanie Cheslak to the position of city clerk for the city of Neenah.
Second.
Alderman Stevenson moves, seconded by Alderman Lendrum, to appoint Stephanie Cheslak to the position of city clerk. Is there any discussion? If not, is there any objections to Stephanie Cheslak being appointed to the position of city clerk? If there's any objections, please state them now. Hearing no objections, that's unanimously ordered. Congratulations, Stephanie. Jim, are you going to swear her in tonight, or?
Yes, we can do that. We're prepared to do that right now.
All right.
Stephanie, you want to raise your right hand? I, and state your name,
I, Stephanie Cheslak,
having been appointed city clerk of the city of Neenah, Winnebago County,
having been appointed the city clerk of the city of Neenah, Winnebago County,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of city clerk to the best of my ability.
the duties of city clerk to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Very, very good. Congratulations.
There you go, everybody.
Congratulations, Stephanie.
Thank you.
There you go. Well, congratulations, and we wish you the very best, and we welcome you on board. You have a very important role to fill as the chief clerk of the city. It's a lot of different facets and roles to this department, and we know you'll do a good job for us, and wish you the very best. So, all right. Not the same fanfare as being here, but that's okay. So congratulations. Here. So next item is approval of the council proceedings of June 3rd, 2020. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Alderman Lundrum moves, seconded by Alderman Lang. Was that you? Alderman Erickson. Lindrum and Erickson. Any questions, comments, or discussion items with regards to the minutes? Alderman Lang, go ahead.
I just saw one typo under the bid report under letter F. Not a big deal, just a little typo.
Okay, that's a technical correction that we can make. So Stephanie, you got that? Under item F. Thank you. We will do that. Anyone else? See no one else. I'd ask for unanimous consent. Is there any objection? I'm sorry, is there any objection to unanimous consent for the council proceedings of June 3rd, 2020 to be approved? Any objection? Hearing no objection, that's so ordered. There are no public hearings tonight, nor are there any reports regarding public hearings. Next item is a public forum, item number 6. To speak to the Common Council on any item that they would like to, any topic. We ask that you give your name, your residential address, and that you are allowed up to 5 minutes to speak, knowing that 5 minutes is a long time for everyone but the mayor. But, I can usually fill that time slot, but we ask that you keep your comments to any subject that you would like. So at this point, is there anyone here who would like to address the council on any topic?
I would.
Carrie Elbrick,
Yeah.
go ahead. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Carrie Ulrich. I live at 143 North Park Ave. And I asked my daughter, who is more facile at these things, to do a petition on Facebook that was entitled Stop the Path and Save the Lakeshore. So this is about the Lakeshore Path, the off-road path. And over 325 people signed the petition, meaning that they were against the path. And to be honest, I don't have that many friends on Facebook. So with that limited amount of people, and just in the space of 2 weeks, we had all those signatures. So I just think that that really says that we have a lot more people that want to keep the road exactly as it is than you might have originally thought. And that probably is because the survey didn't ask the question, do we want to keep the road exactly as it is? But there's a significant number of people in Neenah that want to keep it the way it is. So I just wanted to present that petition, and I gave it to our city clerk this afternoon. Thank you. And I think that's pretty much all I have to say, right? Yeah. My daughter Natalie is standing by.
We also did receive, a number of comments.
We did.
And I think a couple of the comments are just
worth saying.
Good value.
Yeah.
A couple people commented, just makes sense to incorporate a bike pedestrian path
on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, with the 15-mile road and keep the green space that is. Save the green space in the shoreline. These trees are 100 years old and the damage can't be fixed in our lifetime. Stuff like that. Someone also commented, where was the one that I thought we need to read? Oh, this is a big mistake that the city of Neenah is making due to the destruction of natural area. We don't need this at all, coming from a person that walks this road quite often. Save the green space, trees, and the money.
All right, Carrie. Well, thank you very much. What's your daughter's name again, just so we have it for the record?
This is Natalie.
Sorry, I just jumped.
Okay, that's okay, Natalie. And just so the council knows, earlier today, Stephanie did make me aware of this petition. It will be presented later in the meeting. There's an actual item for petitions that have been presented. Stephanie has already emailed it to the council, so you all have it, and you have the comments. That was just earlier today. And so you have the signatures, the city that they live in, and the comments that were made. We made all them available through electronic and sent them to all the aldermen, okay? Just so you know.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else like to address the council on any topic? Mr. Schmitz, go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Just Rick and Sarah Schmitz here, just showing our support for the Safety Committee's change to the municipal code that is up for vote tonight. Happy to answer any questions that anyone may have on that. But otherwise, we just wanted to reiterate our support for that change to the safety enclosures for swimming pools.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Schmitz. Appreciate it. Anyone else like to address the council? Anyone else like to address the council? Second call. And third, anyone else like to address the council? And see, there's two people at, Lisa and Richard Mossbacher. Stephanie, they're muted themselves, or do we have them muted? Lisa and Richard. Just want to make sure. And a Betty McIntosh. If any of those would.
Looks like they're muted themselves.
Okay. If they'd like to speak, you have to unmute yourself and let me know that you would like to speak. Otherwise, I'm going to close the public forum at this time. Last call. Seeing no one, I will close the public forum. And I mentioned that later on in the meeting, we will have the presentation of the petition officially during that segment. Item number, anyone like to speak on anything that was brought up during the forum? That's item number 7. And item number 8 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I have a question or comment on the public forum, but I don't know.
Sure, go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
I'm just curious, have we ever had a Facebook petition before? Is this our first? I'm just curious because it's like, oh, what a sign of the changing times that we.
Yeah, I think we had, under Clerk Sturm and since I've been here, maybe Alderman Stevenson remembers, but I do believe a petition from a social media type site was presented at one point.
Okay, I couldn't recall one and I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool that can happen now. Anyway, that was just random question.
Yeah, I got it. Anyone else? All right, is there a motion on the consent agenda? I lost my screen with showing everyone. Is that? I don't know.
It looks like Attorney Godleski is sharing his screen, and I just messaged him to see if he wants to be doing that.
I don't want to be doing it. I can't figure out what I did to do that.
If you go down where you can mute yourself, there's a screen option, and if you click there, I think you can make that stop.
Okay.
Yeah, because of that, I can't see everyone, so I don't know if anyone's trying to get my attention or not, just so folks know. So see if we can figure that out, Jim.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right. I'm sorry, was there a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda. Alderman Lang.
Alderman Lang moves. Alderman Lundrum seconds that. Any one on the consent agenda? Any comments or anyone would like any of the items taken off? Thank you. We got her. Anyone? If not, all in favor of approving the consent agenda? This will be a unanimous consent. I apologize. Is there any objection to approval of the consent agenda? Is there any objection? Seeing no objection, that's so ordered. Item number 9 is the standing committees reports. Public Services and Safety Committee meeting, Chairman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out from the meeting of June 9th, 2020, and the minutes can be found on the city website. The committee recommends council approve ordinance number 2020-09, amending section 21.39, parent C of the municipal court code relating to swimming pool enclosure.
And you make that motion?
I'll move.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Alderman Stevenson? Did you make the motion?
No, I
Okay.
can.
Oh, Alderman Lundrum moves. I'm sorry. I thought I heard someone. Alderman Lundrum moves, seconded by Alderman Lang. Discussion on the topic. Alderman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. The committee voted 4-1. I was the no vote. I do want to say that if this passes, I did ask the city attorney and community development about what would happen if we discover someone is not fulfilling all the requirements of the pool cover. And I'd like to have it in the minutes that if someone does not fulfill the requirements for the pool cover, they would be required to put up the fence.
There we go. It was just me. I
Stephanie,
apologize. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Stephanie, did you get that?
I did, yes.
Thank you.
For some reason I couldn't hear. So, anyone else like to comment or ask a question? Alderman Boyette. Alderman Boyette, unmute yourself, please. There
Working
you go.
on it.
Thank you.
Am I, hello? Ooh. Okay, there I am.
You're good.
So I appreciate that those that were involved in this went back on my suggestion and researched some of the Florida regulations. So I do want to duly note credit there, and I appreciate it. However, I have always been told we never, ever make an ordinance or a rule because of one individual, and it seems that's what we're doing here. We have taken such interest in safety for the off-street park slash walk path because of a potential issue with traffic and pedestrians that has never occurred, but we're betting that it will at some point, and that's why we're taking these extra costs and safety measures for that. So I find it very difficult to understand that the committee would approve to allow someone to not have a simple fence up around a pool as the number one and first safety feature, especially when it's adjoined to a trail. And it's my understanding that this covenant that these homeowners have with their neighborhood association allows for a fence only with a pool. So they're allowed to put a fence up where their home is, and their home is adjacent to a public trail. So I'm kind of going with the mentality that we did with Lakeshore, is that this is a safety issue, and I would like to still see a fence put up as a primary. If folks want to do the additional, what the ordinance is proposing, I don't have a problem with that. But I don't foresee a lot of people spending the $20,000+ on these pool covers when a fence is, number one, a lot cheaper and really does more safety for the public. So I would be voting no for this because I still don't feel it's a safety issue
All right,
or
thank you
lack
for your
thereof safety. Sure.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments or questions? I just want to be sure, Director Hayes, is the comment correct that they are allowed to have a fence in that
Yeah,
area
permitted.
if they have a pool? We have, correct?
Yes, that's correct, yes.
That's what I thought. Alderman Kuntz.
Thank you, Mayor. I wasn't going to speak on this issue. I don't have a direct issue with it, but I have a concern in that an alderperson just spoke twice about the reasons why the council did what they did on Lakeshore, even though that council member voted against it. It goes way beyond safety. I would just, at least for myself, I would just suggest that we not try to link the two, nor do we try to suggest we know what all the other people voted, the reasons for them voting on something. So I just don't want to muddy the waters here. This issue stands alone. We can vote on it. Lakeshore is another issue, stands alone. Have nothing to do with each other.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions on this issue? Alderman Lang, go ahead.
Have we had other requests for pool covers? Brad would probably know the answer to that.
Yes, over the years we have.
Alderman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. I did receive an email from our previous inspector, chief inspector, and he said that he would be cautiously against this pool cover idea. I was wondering, has the current inspector changed his view on it, that he is in support of this now?
We reviewed this as a department, not as an individual. The original ordinance that we had brought through council was pretty vague. He had provided input into the current ordinance, specifically in regards to the maintenance. So again, this wasn't an individual decision. He did provide his input.
But my question is, does he support it now?
I can't answer that because we looked at it as a team, again, not as an individual. So with his input, I would assume that his input meant that he supports it.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, there's a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2020-09, amending section 21.39 C of the municipal code relating to swimming pool enclosures. All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no as your name is called by the clerk Cheslock.
Alderperson Lendrum,
Aye.
Bates,
No.
Erickson,
No.
Coons,
Aye.
Lang,
Aye.
Bellman,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
and Boyette.
No.
Okay, that is 5-3. Motion carries.
That motion passes 5 ayes, 3 noes.
And
That
concludes
passes.
the report.
Thank you, Chairman Bates. Item number B is the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of June 8th, 2020. Chairman Erickson. I think we lost Tammy. Oh no, there she is. Tammy, go ahead.
She's muted.
Unmute yourself. There you go. Thank you.
Reporting out from the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of June 8th. Minutes can be found on the city website. Item number 1, the committee recommends council approve addendum development and fee agreement for Cardinal Plat to be acted on after report from the Board of Public Works. Item number 2, the committee recommends council approve to purchase and implement seamless doc and electronics form solution at a cost not to exceed $10,820. Funding for this purchase will be a combination of $5,410 from Information Systems 2020 operating budget and $5,410 from the Capital Equipment Reserve. And I so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Erickson. Is there a second? Alderman Kathy Boyette seconds it. Motion is second. Open up for discussion. Alderman Bates, go ahead.
I just want to get a number from Director Wenninger about, was it 70-some thousand different documents we have? Is that correct?
Director Wenninger? I believe the number was 64,000. Joe looks like he's frozen.
Yes, he does. So, so I guess what I'm saying is, so this, it sounds amazing that for $10,000 we get something that'll take care of 76,000, or as you said, 64,000, whatever it was, number of forms. I'm just impressed with that. That's my point.
Thank you. Alderman Coons.
Thank you, Mayor. While I support this, I would be cautious about the excitement there. To me, we need to get a handle on our forms and what forms we have and why we have them and are they needed and what's the best way to deal with them. Something we probably should have done a long time ago. At the same time, this might sound like a deal at $10,000, but it was in the minutes. I want to make sure every councilperson recognizes this. This is a prorated amount. What happens is every year we're going to be charged $18,450 or some number almost like that. Every single year will come out of levied dollars that we didn't have to pay for, and that number will go up every year most likely as those fees typically do. So it's an expense. I think it's a very important piece. I think there's a lot of nice things that can happen with it, but I do think we need to get a handle on our forms and what we do and how we do them, and I think there has to be a lot of work done there, which I think will be great. And maybe if this prompts that to happen, I will be all for it. If we just pop this in and just keep on doing business as usual, I don't think we have really missed a great opportunity. So I'm really in favor of this, but a lot of work needs to be done in the city, in IS, in forms, in online access, and all kinds of different things. I think the fact that our IS director froze and can't get into a meeting speaks to the issues I see we have with IS.
Okay, thank you. What else? Alderman Bates, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, I'm wondering what amount of budgeted amount are we setting aside for the actual departments to go over their forms? I'm assuming we're not just going to say, okay, here's our form. It was created in 1985. We've always liked it, and let's just keep moving it through without anybody looking at it. Are we evaluating what sort of forms are going out there before we actually perpetuate them?
Director Wenninger? Chris, do you have anything you can add? We did talk about that a little bit.
I'm not 100% sure I follow the question, but I would expect that each department, and particularly the department head, would be evaluating and have oversight over forms as they're going out. As we know, we continually refine what we have online, particularly as it relates to our inspection software, trying to make sure that these forms are straightforward and as easy as they can be. I know Joe has expressed concern, and rightly so, with making sure they're ADA compliant. So I wouldn't guarantee that whatever forms go out are going to be 100% perfect, but I would anticipate that we will continue to review and refine to ensure that what's out there is the best it can be.
Alderman Stevenson, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. After the committee meeting last week, my memory was jogged, and I remember in a previous discussion about one of the tools that IS had brought forward to us for this forms management, brought out the reality that some of our departments are already doing some work online and are having forms online that people can download and fill out and whatnot. It's kind of a, from what I understand, it's kind of a Rube Goldberg kind of a setting. I'm just curious, and I'm not sure who to ask, but I want to make sure that all departments are on board to implement this product versus things that have maybe been hybrided into the reality sooner in lieu of having any other product. I think James was one that James or maybe somebody in community development had forms that we had available to download, bartender license. I don't know. I can't remember what they were, but Chris might know.
I'm not sure if Joe heard the question, so I'll chime in. I would charge the council and particularly the mayor as the chief executive officer, if you will, to ensure that the message is spread to each department that this is an effort that the city needs to undertake. The mayor and most of the department heads know my feeling on trying to get as much online, and as bad as it sounds, keeping people from City Hall, and not that I want to keep them from City Hall, but I want to make it, my goal is to make a situation where people don't have to come to City Hall to do their work. So I think we, and I can speak for my department, and I certainly see it in other departments, that there is an effort to go along those lines to make not only what's an asset for us as employees, but more importantly, what's an asset for our customers. And that's the ease of being able to go online and do this. But if we have departments that aren't aggressively doing that, then I certainly can't make other departments do that, but I think the mayor and the council certainly can.
Well, as a follow-up to that, though, I would, with all due respect, I would expect to hear that. And if we're going to invest dollars, the message that comes from the council and the mayor as the chief executive better be that we're buying tools and we better utilize them. And I guess that's the underlying reason for my question was we seem to have had people who wanted to proactively get online, creating tools. And I guess two questions. Is this $18,000 annualized expense expected to circumvent the products to date? And are all people in City Hall, have they been presented with this? Have they signed off on it? Are they in agreement with it? Or is there some disagreement, which may be okay because not everything people agree with, but I want to make sure that, for example, that the tools that are kind of the Rube Goldberg tools may not be a better solution than $18,000 a year perpetually.
Todd, I can speak to that. I've got to apologize to the council. Spectrum threw me a curve and rebooted my router. So we do have support of all the administrative assistants. We met with them. After that meeting, we also met with the department heads, and there's support to go ahead and move to something like this. Right now, the tools you speak of are cobbled together at best. The only tool I believe that is being used right now is making fillable forms out of either Power PDF or Adobe, which are extremely difficult to do. And if you want to go ahead and have them submitted, you need to know JavaScripting to put in the background, which I would venture to guess nobody outside my department knows how. And we still don't have a payment element if we go that way to tie into it. So this will greatly enhance and simplify the effort of putting these forms online. And not only online, there's a significant number of internal forms here. I'd love to see the day where I don't have to fill out 4 or 5 paper forms to enroll for my health insurance and hand walk them over to HR, so they can manually put them into a system to keep track of what they're doing. And then take that spreadsheet they create and have to send that up to whoever our provider is. That should be a process that would be streamlined down to everybody filling out online, except for possibly a very few people. The back-end database that is in the base system here will be able to, HR will be able to pull that spreadsheet out of there, export it, and send it that way. Basically, there should be no duplicate keying of anything. And that's just one example of, and I think they've got like 4 or 5 different enrollment things that go along with that. I know there's dental, there's health, there's opt-out, there's, I'm looking at their sheet here, flexible spending, a whole slew just in that November enrollment, insurance enrollment timeline.
I'm sorry, Alderman Stevenson, you have any follow-up?
Well, I guess what I want to hear is that all users of and potential users of the technology, those currently utilizing other methodologies and those who are looking forward to beginning the process, are all on board to utilize this tool.
Yeah, and I would say they are. And if they are, they haven't made it known. But the department heads are all on board that we move this way. So that basically, in my opinion, puts all the administrative assistants.
I would tell you
whoever creates the form for the department becomes their expert would be on board.
Later this month, we have a department head meeting coming up. I have this on the agenda for that department head meeting. As I understood the issue partly was that there were a couple forms that were being done. They could do it, but it was 1980 technology, and they were doing it that way. They are going to hear from me as the leader that we're all going to get on the same page here, and we're going to do these forms because I think it'll provide some benefit for all of us for this, making it simpler to databases and things like that. So that's going to be the message I'm going to give them.
Yeah, I just don't want to hear it a year from now or a year and a half from now where we have this event thing that, well, we haven't switched that one over yet and yada, 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 which has happened at times. So if we're going to invest, to Alderperson Kuntz's point, this is a significant ongoing expense, and we need to make sure we manage it and capture it. And because $18,000 now suddenly has potential to become an unknown amount, and it just falls into the council will never see it again, other than the line item in the budget. And if it goes to 30,000 in 2 years, we won't know it unless we ask the question at budget time. How much are we paying for that seamless forms document? And then we'll find out, well, they went up considerably or they went down considerably. Let's think proactively. But we lose track of that because we don't get into that. Maybe we should. But I don't want I want to make sure everybody's on board. And I'll shut up.
And as I understand it, Joe, this yearly cost is in lieu of hardware costs, which is borrowing dollars, but It's in lieu, the other alternative is to buy hardware to do this, correct?
One of the other solutions that we brought forward did have a cloud and a premise solution, which the premise solution would be purchasing hardware or firing up another virtual server and a software cost. But basically that solution lacked functionality in our opinion.
Okay.
Our, meaning myself and Joni and Samantha. And we are just trending the way government's going. You know, I'll repeat again that Gartner Group, who is the biggest marketing group in technology, they predict that 75% of local and state government will be to the cloud by 2025. There's vendors out there now that even in some of your I'll call them business applications only offer the cloud. It's path that at some point we're going to have to deal with it, or we'll be stuck in this platform of platforms that we've got no features, no updates coming our way.
All right, thank you. Alderman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. When you're talking about the information going to the cloud, does the data reside with them? Do we have ownership of it? And what sort of backup do we have? Do we get at least a transaction file, things like that?
Backup is done in the cloud. When we go ahead and if we would go ahead and sever contact, the data is ours. We are the owner of the data. So we would get that data back in a format that we would be able to put into probably at the very least a SQL database that we create. But you know, I think we've done pretty extensive vetting of this, so I don't expect anything like that to happen.
I guess what I'm concerned with is I'm thinking that if people are doing their payments online, we will be collecting credit card information, and at that point we have a much more a stronger sense of protection that we should provide.
We will not be collecting that. That will be up in the cloud. That's not our issue with a breach. I'd be very, very hard pressed to bring any kind of solution to this council in which we stored credit card information. I think as a city, we just don't want to be there with all the breaches there are in the world today. And it only takes one email clicked on. That's
all right. Alderman Coons.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I don't think anyone stores credit card information without some huge, only a few places do it because it's a huge requirement. That I know. But Joe, what you said earlier concerned me, and I'm really kind of for a yes or no answer here. And that is, my assumption is this product, when I fill out a form, whether it's anything from a fire permit to paying online, is that this information flows into our system automatically. And it's not just another electronic version of a paper copy in which someone has to re-enter the data. The beauty of this would be that it saves keystrokes because they fill it out and it moves into our system automatically. Is that the case?
They do have connectors. We could write that. I guess I'm a little fuzzy when you say our system. Most of the forms that we're looking at don't have a system per se.
For instance, a fire, so I'll take it really, really simple. I want a fire permit. Now, if I fill out, hey, it's great, I can do it online, isn't that fabulous? But it just comes in as an electronic document someone prints out and then saves and then takes and enters in who has a permit, so then the fire department can look it up. that's a problem because it brings very, very little value, at least from internally. You
Correct.
need,
If that's what you're looking at, when that form comes in, it's stored basically in an electronic file cabinet in a database. It's got a copy of the form. We could literally go ahead and I don't know if we'll go this far, but I believe we could literally go ahead, give the fire department access to actually look to see if a person has a form.
to me, the beauty of this would be, yes, it'd be great for residents to be able to fill things online. But if I'm just filling out a form and then I submit it and, someone in community development has to print it out and look at it and then handwrite on it and, scan it and send it back or something crazy like that, that isn't helpful. If anything else, it makes us look old fashioned and out of date. If we're going to do online forms, we need to do online forms correctly, where the data flows in. And when I say our system, I mean our ERP system, which should be collecting all this information for us. That is the whole purpose of an ERP system. I can't emphasize that enough, that we are still a Band-Aid process, just looking for trouble. I can't enough how I believe our IS system is going to cause us some real issues in the very near future.
Your opinion, I wouldn't have that opinion. Just saying.
Mayor?
Director Hayes.
I just to respond, my view to Alderman Quinn's, my understanding of this software is that we are going to be able to provide data that we can farm, right? We can farm the data, which I think is what you're getting at, right? So to me, and if that's truly the answer, again, there's in my view, three really important points to this software. One is an improved experience for our customers. Two is an efficiency for our staff. And three is having data that we can actually farm and use. And the example that I will use is when we did Major League Fishing and we wanted to reach out to those that had boat landing permits. That data was not in an electronic format. Under this product, my assumption is that would be the case, and in a matter of a few minutes, we could generate, assuming we had collected email addresses, we could generate a list of email addresses and send out a message indicating them of this event, or there was a closure, or whatever the case may be. So I view that as one of the very three key points of this software.
All right, thank you, Director Hayes. Anyone else? As I view this, I'm hoping that, when I go down to my Amazon, my account, so to speak, of some business accounts, Amazon, I punch in my first few letters and it fills it in for me because it knows that I've been there before. And I'm sure you've all experienced that, and it probably has your address saved, probably has your information saved from previous transactions. So I think these types of systems are much more consumer friendly, and that's what I'm hoping we're getting here. Stephanie, go ahead.
I just wanted to speak to Alderperson Coons to allay some of his fears. I'm thinking that what you're hoping is what it does. I remember when I saw some of the tutorials and what it can do. Just for example, all the bartenders licenses you guys just approved, I track all those right now on paper forms with a checklist. This system, I asked specifically about that process. I'll be able to track those forms as they come in, and the applicant's able to upload their proof of safe server course and everything, and I'm able to track all that right in there, and it's just a database instead of me doing it manually. So I think that is exactly what we're going to be able to do, and I know in the meeting where all the admins were together, we all were very excited about it.
Alderman Bates, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Joe, when you checked out some of the other communities that use this, do you know about how long they have been using this?
Let me see here as I dig through my papers. I jotted it down. I know the company is 8 years old. I'm thinking the Wisconsin references, if I can't find it right here, but I'm thinking, if memory serves me right, are in the 2 to 4 year time frame. Seamless Gov does have they only deal with government entities. They do have 400, just over 400 customers. But if I can go ahead and send that information to you, I can't find where I've got it right now.
All right, but you check. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? There's a motion and a second to approve the purchase and implement seamless docs. All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no. As the clerk calls your name, please.
Alderperson Bates,
Aye.
Erickson, Coons,
Aye.
Coons,
Aye.
Lang,
Aye.
Spellman,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Boyette, she's nodding her head aye, and Lendrum.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That motion passes 8-0. My suggestion
Thank
would
you.
be, for the alderman, maybe after 1 year of this, we have a report from the administrative assessments and the IT department and see how we're going. So, okay, how's it going? How's it working? Let's see. Thank you for your report. Appreciate it. Item number 10, special committees. The Board of Public Works meeting of June 9th, 2020. Vice Chairman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 informational items and 1 council action item. For an informational item, the board approved pay estimate number 3 for contract 1-20 sewer and water main street construction to Crew Check Construction Incorporated in the amount of $184,930.04. The board approved pay estimate number 1 for contract 3-20 hot mix asphalt street construction to Summers Construction Company in the amount of $121,676 even. And as my council action item from this committee meeting, the board recommends council approve addendum to the development and fee agreement for Cardinal Plat, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Bates. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Alderman Stevenson seconds to approve the addendum to the development and fee agreement for the Cardinal Plat. Comments? Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no using the roll call. As Stephanie the clerk calls your name, please.
Stephanie Clerk.
Stephanie the clerk, not clerk, but Clerk Cheslack.
There we go. All right, Alderperson Erickson,
Aye.
Coons,
Aye.
Lang,
Aye.
Spellman,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Boyette,
Aye.
Lendrum,
Aye.
and Bates.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
And that concludes
The
my
motion
report.
passes. Thank you very much for your report. Item number C is a report from the CDA. Do you have anything tonight, Director Hayes?
Sorry, you caught me off guard. Only quickly, CDA is likely to meet Monday. We will meet in closed session and are hopefully going to evaluate for the last time 2 development agreements, actually 3 agreements, dealing with projects in the downtown. And those will be on the agenda for Finance Committee that evening as well. Also in a closed session, but if things go well, my intent and hope would be that they would come out in the closed session and approved in an open session and forwarded to council for review on July 1st. I'm working on memos as we speak.
I will tell you this. This is Alderman Stevenson. I just want to say this. Nothing comes easy, and these projects have been in the works for some time. We are at pretty much the mercy of the developer in many cases, but we're finally at the. We are seeing light at the end of the tunnel, and getting everything done. And I think Director Hayes has been persistent and has always stayed on top of these and constant communication with these developers. And a lot of things happen with in between with, just a lot of things happen in this world. So that does have an impact on these things, but we are very, very close to finalizing these deals that I'm really, really excited about and have talked about for a long time. And we're really close to the end zone here. So I appreciate the hard work that him and Brad have put in on this. Alderman Stevenson?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I acknowledge that these development agreements are truly unique, and they're very time consuming, and in some cases very complicated, and a lot of give and take back and forth to get the document the way we want it. But I also, on behalf of the council also is going to need to be able to deal with and ask a lot of questions about, I think, about some of these development agreements. So the sooner you can get those into our hands, the better it is for us to be able to absorb them. So if we can get them in like tomorrow versus getting them late Friday for a Monday meeting, 3 different documents, and we're gonna be expected to be knowledgeable on them and not, so all the anxiety and the complications that staff has gone through to get it to this point has taken months and months and months and months and months. Council is going to have a weekend to review them. So the sooner you get them in our hands, the better.
I'll do my best.
All right, thank you, Council President Stevenson. Anyone else? If not, we'll move on to the library board. Alderperson Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Public Library Board of Trustees met today at 4 o'clock at the Neenah Library. We had a very successful meeting, and we practiced social distancing, and it went very well. I would like to report on the reopening of the library, which happened on June 8th. The first week was a soft opening to give staff the opportunity to make adjustments if needed. And a public announcement via social media will be made the week of June 15th. The current open hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Curbside pickup hours and phone hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 to 7, and Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The library is closed Sundays through the summer months, and that is due to cleaning the library and making sure everything is safe. Masks are required to enter the building for staff and patrons, and the occupancy is limited to 25 patrons. And patrons are asked to limit their visit to no more than 30 minutes. Library department heads are currently greeting all patrons entering the library to ensure the masks are worn and watching occupancy limits and answering questions. The first week has gone very well. Patrons are happy to have access to library materials, the computers, and the copiers. The staff does not have plans to change the temporary reopen schedule. Right now, they are going to watch how everything is going. but it has been a very, very successful reopening. At this point, there are 1,117 youth program signups, which is about 500 less than last year, but that is a great amount considering everything that's going on. In the month of May, over 16,000 items were checked out from the library, which equated to 3,274 curbside pickups, which is amazing. Curbside pickup is still going on, so if you feel more comfortable with that, you can do that, but you are also invited to go to the library and look through the books and the magazines and the DVDs, etc. So everybody is very encouraged by the opening and how well it is going. And I'd like to take any questions you may have about the library's opening if you have any. Alderman Boyette.
Alderman Boyette, go ahead.
Yeah, hang on, I'm trying.
You're good.
Trying.
You're on.
Can you hear me?
You're on. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. I'm having a lot of difficulties with this tonight for some reason. Anyway, my question is, are they restricting age groups? So are the parents allowed to bring the children? If so, what ages? Things like that, because I know little hands are harder to keep from touching certain things. And then you said all patrons. So, if mama's bringing baby in, baby's got to have a mask. I just clarifying.
Young children, so far so good on the young kids having a mask, but everybody is welcome at the library, and that also goes for the library reading program this summer. They for all ages from 0 to 150. So
here.
adults are encouraged to join the adult library summer library program, and it is going very, very well. Anything else? And that concludes
Thank you very, very much.
One other thing I'd like to mention is if you have a chance, please visit the library and check out all of the safety things that are in place, the plexiglass screens that are by the self-checkout. There is just, they've done an amazing job of making the library safe. So I encourage you to visit and ask someone to give you a tour. You will be very, very impressed. And that
Alderman Boyette, did you have thank you. Alderman Boyette, did you have a follow-up? Go ahead.
I did. I have a poor connection, network connection, so I didn't hear a word you said. So can you just email me, please?
Okay.
Sure will. So she just said to check out all the different things that they've done to make sure protect the safety of patrons and workers at the library. They've done a lot of different with the plexiglass screens and making sure social distancing and things like that. So, some libraries still are not open around the state and in the Fox Valley. So once again, we've found a way to, at least on a limited basis, allow people the use of our library, and I'm pretty proud of that. So thank you, Tammy. Alderman Stevenson, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just jumped on the library website, and there is a link to all the stuff that Alderperson Erickson was talking about regarding what they're doing in response to the pandemic. So it's available on the library website.
That's true.
Yeah. Thanks, Ted. Okay, so thank you for your report, Alderperson Erickson. Do you have any report tonight from the Arts Council?
Yes, the Neenah Arts Council had an online meeting yesterday at 4, and we have decided to participate in the Chalk the State event, which will be held Saturday and Sunday, July 25th and 26th. And what this is encouraging local residents to create sidewalk art in their driveway, in a parking lot, wherever they would like, and then post it online. There will be prizes, and chalk will be available for those who do not have it at the library the day before the event. So this is a fun initiative, so everybody can be safe and be creative at the same time.
Well, thank you. Sounds cool for the kids. Sounds great.
And
All right, thank you. Thank you for your report. I see no other reports. We'll move on to item number 11 is a presentation of petitions. You heard earlier that a petition has been presented to Clerk Cheslock. She has forwarded that to you. Anything you'd like to add, Stephanie?
Nope, I just believe that at this point, one of you would make a motion to put it on file or take some kind of other action if that was your desire.
I think you can accept it, place it on file. You can send it to a committee or other alternatives. Is there anyone who'd like to make a motion regarding this petition?
Move to accept the petition and place on file.
Alderman Lindrum moves, seconded by Alderman Coons. Sorry, Kathy. But you got Alderman Coons. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Alderman Stevenson, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The Common Council has taken a couple of steps to this point, and I'm not quite sure. Well, I think I'm sure. I'm not quite sure the council would understand how what possible reaction they could have to this petition. But so I'll defer to Jim, and I'll give you what I think the only thing that can happen for this. Council's already taken action to award the contract. They've taken action to define the scope of the work. And the only way that the council could take any additional action would be if one of the members who voted in the majority were to ask for it to be brought back. Even with that, given that there's a contractual obligation to the last vote for the work, if we were to try to readdress this issue, there could be some additional financial considerations that may come into play. Is that correct?
That is correct, President Stevenson. We do have a contractual obligation for the project as it was approved by the council back on April 21st, I believe was the date. And as a result, if we change, we make some significant changes or postpone the project, that could have contractual repercussions with the contractor that was a successful bidder on the project.
So as an additional follow-up, so the motion to accept and place on file really is, we acknowledge, if this passes, we acknowledge the fact that the petition was received. The council intends to not take any action on it because it would have to be referred to a committee. And at that point, I think that one of the members who voted in the majority could ask that it be brought back for additional consideration.
That's correct.
So I will vote against the motion to accept and place on file, not because I don't support the content of the petition, but just accepting and placing on file does nothing to respond to the people that signed it.
All right. Jim will, in unfinished business, Jim will also be giving us a short update on that particular project. And then I believe next week in committee, we will have some more discussion on that project, or at least an update with regards to trees and things like that. So just so the council knows. So there is a motion and a second to accept and place on file the petition from Natalie Ulrich and regarding Lakeshore Drive. All in favor of that petition, placing it on file, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those opposed?
No.
Alderman Stevenson is a no. Is there any other no's? No other no's. Seeing no other no's, Stephanie, all members have voted in the affirmative with the exception of Alderman Stevenson. That motion passes to accept and place on file. Thank you very much. Council directives. Is there any council directives anyone would like to talk about? Unfinished business. First, we have ratification of council approval of resolution 2010-10. There is a clerk's note on this that it did not have a, the motion did not refer to the resolution number. The resolution was not attached to the agenda. City Attorney Godleski advised that the matter be placed before the council to ratify that approval, listing the resolution number and including the resolution in the agenda packet. Attorney Godleski, do you have any other comments?
No, this is just out of an abundance of caution because we're dealing with a grant application to make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted to make sure there's no question down the road.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion to ratify the council approval of resolution 2020-10.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Bates, seconded by Alderman Coons. This is the Wisconsin boating grant that was for the dredging project at Rec Park. Is there any discussion? Alderman Boyack, go ahead.
I'm just curious if there's a, if this was just an oversight, like a one-time oversight, we got excited and somebody failed to fill it in properly, or is this part of a process that normally for these type of things, there's a process followed? Because these are a lot of errors for something that we seem to do on a regular basis. I'm just wondering.
This was a one-time oversight, Alderman Boyd. I can assure you, normally this is not a problem with having the resolution before, but we have a new, relatively new department head in the Park and Rec department, and so just into that, and also in my staff. So it won't happen again.
Again, I'm not looking to poke fingers. I'm just asking. So thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one else, there's a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion will vote aye. All opposed will vote no as the clerk calls your name.
All right, Alderperson Coons,
Aye.
Lang,
Aye.
Spellman,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Boyette,
Aye.
Lendrum,
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
and Erickson.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
That motion passes. Item number 14 is new business. Does anyone have any new business to discuss before I talk about a couple things? Alderman Bates, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. At one of the other meetings, and I also have reminded you that I personally would like to take a tour of what we were talking about at Jewelers Drive. I think there was a few other aldermen that were interested as well, because we've heard about certain things like where the bridges needed to be and things like that. But before we get into any sort of hardcore discussion of this, I'd really like to actually walk the area.
I have it down and I have not talked to Jerry yet about that and Chris, but there is another project going on there by the Neenah Foundry, or the same area that we'll be going to, or similar area, with regards to the cleanup of the slough there. So we'll look at logistics, and we don't want to get in their way.
You won't be able to get on that site.
When are we actually going to be doing anything, making any decisions on this then? When's the next time that's coming in front of us?
Jerry, go ahead.
We're working with the consultant and with the employer down on that south end on some trail location options that impact their property. So once we get alternative there nailed down a little better, plus we also need to have the consultant evaluate the 2 bridge crossing locations that we're considering to be the most favorable for the project.
Well, do you have an idea when you're going to be taking him through that area?
That the employer's been through there. Chris and I had walked with him, or with a couple of folks from that business some time ago when we were just kind of eyeballing up some issues that the consultant had brought forward to us.
Well, I thought it was a lot longer than just at that one business. I mean, is there any place that you can show us anything? Because I feel like I'm in the dark on this one.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, I mean, if the mayor is looking to arrange a tour, we can set something up anytime.
Okay, yeah, Marge just asked me recently, and so I said I'd bring it up, and just have not done it yet. So now you know that, we'll have to look at it, look at when the best time is to do that. And if it is waiting for the recommendation, that's fine, then we might be able to point it out even a little bit more clear about where things could go. There's a lot of speculation right now, but it's something that we can take people out there for. I think we can arrange it, right, Jerry?
I think we can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Alderman Coons, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Kaiser, where are we at with the stormwater pond on the Neenah Foundry site? And completion date, we have one.
We're expecting to start digging later fall, so that'll be probably October-ish. That we'll start digging out there. The engineer on that one is working on the utility plan on Site 6, and then he'll be devoted 100% on the pond.
I'm just concerned in that was going to happen, I don't know, almost at least last year, and then not till this year, meaning completion date sometime the following year. This is a project we've been waiting for 5 years prior to this, so we've got to be, by the time we finish this project, we'll have paid off a loan. I don't know, I'm a bit concerned.
All right, any other comments or questions? We are in new business. Jim, did you want to give a quick update on there is a court proceeding tomorrow, is that correct?
That's correct. We have a status conference with the judge on the Lakeshore Avenue litigation. That was generated out of a schedule that we had put together for when the construction was going to start on the roadway and pathway based on the contractor's workload. We expect that wasn't going to happen until after July 4th, but I indicated to the plaintiff's attorney that we would likely be in there dealing with diseased trees and the trees that need to be come down for the roadway itself. And based on that, he asked that we do a status conference with the judge to find out a schedule that she could that she would address so that we could get the issue before the court.
So there's a scheduling and I don't know what else you call status conference tomorrow morning, just so folks know.
Tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock.
Tomorrow afternoon, I'm sorry. So the attorneys will take care of that. And then my items, I just wanted to very quickly talk about the temporary outdoor extension of for restaurants and bars. They're starting to get more and more interest in that. More and more bars and restaurants are taking us up on that offer and talking to community development. Some of the downtown businesses with regards to the retail extensions are also looking at that and getting ready to move forward. So those things are happening. The pool opened last week Friday. It was a very cool day, and so there were not a lot of activity at the pool, as I understand it. Mike told me, but it's going well. They are selling a lot of 12 punches for city residents at this point. And then I believe Monday there other residents of 54956 will be able to purchase residents at a higher rate cost, but it's going well with regards to the pool. The fireworks, we'll have one more meeting. We are planning on having a July 1st meeting. The 4th is on Saturday. Lots of times we take that meeting off. I haven't talked to the two staff or to the staff yet about what they're going to have. It's my expectations that there are going to be some things that we're going to be asked to deal with regards to development agreements and those types of things. So those will more than likely make it onto the committee agendas next time they meet. And then we are planning on, at this point, unless something changes, having a meeting on July 1. That will also, at this point, planning on a virtual meeting. The fireworks, July 4th, we are feeling pretty good about that. The community buzz is, I think, really positive, and people are excited to hear that we're gonna do this and that that we found what we feel is a way to do it safely and bring a fireworks show to the citizens, where the whole idea is here, if you can't come to the fireworks, we're gonna try and bring the fireworks to you. After meeting with Spillbauer Fireworks, they believe 85% of the city, and we believe 85% of the city will be able to see the fireworks from their front yard, their driveway, their porch, hopefully. And if they can't, they can go somewhere close in the neighborhood, social distance, and make sure that they can find a good spot. I do want to add that after talking to Spillbauer, someone had I think it might have been Alderman, had a suggestion that we send up a report at 8:15 and another one at 8:30. There you go, Marge. 8:30 and another one at 8:45, so that people, just one, so that people can gauge whether or not they can see it from the location, if they have to make an adjustment. So that is going to happen. What else? I can tell you, let me see here. Oh, with regards to the CIP, Deb is putting that together, and we did have an adjusted schedule that you all received, and we are a goal for that happening then. So we'll get the 5-year plan behind us in early July. Other decisions that are in the works are Bazaar After Dark is scheduled for the last part of July. I think Chris and I are having some discussions, and we're going to have some discussions with the folks that are planning that. And we will let you know very, very shortly what's going to happen there. And yeah, I can tell you it's probably not good news. So, but that decision, they were kind of holding off, but it doesn't appear that that's going to happen. Burn permits, boat launch permits, pet licensing are all back going. We are back enforcing parking downtown. More and more slowly of the tenants are coming back to downtown, whether it be Alta, Plexus, and Theta Care. The big tenants, most of the shops are open. The interesting part is we have not been told, at least that we're aware of any business downtown that's not returning that we know of. Subway is still tentatively closed, but we did a bid walkthrough this morning looking at things downtown. If you haven't noticed the hanging baskets, they really have brought a really nice look to the downtown area. So that's happening. So that's some of the things that are going on that I wanted to touch on. And pretty soon, the first couple evening concerts for the downtown are going to be held at the high school. They're going to be at a drive-in format type of format. And then the first couple in early June of the Thursday afternoon concerts are going to be held at Riverside Park. So there's more spacing, more social distancing, things like that. So those are a few of the things that I wanted to touch on. So thank you. Anything else by anyone, anybody else? If you see any lawns or anything in the city that you need to be addressed, the lawns have been Katie's been getting to as many as she can, giving orders. Valhaven, we finally got to, but it was a hayfield, and it probably looks like it can use it again when I drove by today. But we did get to it, and a lot of the other properties around the city, most of them are now under orders to clean up their act. That's all I have. Anyone else? Todd, do you have anything from the council?
Nope.
Okay. Seeing no one else, is there a motion to adjourn? Alderperson Stevenson moves. Who seconded it? Alderman Lundrum. There's a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Any opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it.
Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.